Good morning, everyone. In today's class, we will be discussing about criminalization of politics. So, what exactly criminalization of politics is all about? So, what are the reasons? What are its cause of concern? Do we have any guidelines? And what should be the way forward? So, in this way, the whole lecture goes. So, the reason why I have taken up this particular topic is that if you see this particular snippet, if you see, it's from yesterday's newspaper. Okay, so 24% of Rajya Sabha members they are facing the criminal charges. Okay, so this is according to the report released by the Association of Democratic Reforms (ADR). So this ADR, it's a very when it comes to the politics, especially when it comes to elections members, it's a very famous organization. It maintains the statistics of the whole election process. Whenever you want, you can visit this particular website if you want to know about what you call the details of your members of parliament or state legislature. So it maintains the database. So according to that, 24% of the Rajya Sabha members, they're facing the criminal charges. So along with that, I have also taken up another. So this is from the previous one. So this is again, this is with respect to Lok Sabha. If you see the present Lok Sabha, around 43% of the candidates, the 43% of the candidates who won the election, 43% of them, they got this criminal records. So within that again you see among 43, 29% of them are actually having this serious criminal cases against them, pending against them. If you see the graph, the first bar graph showing the increasing trend of criminal cases against the candidates. Okay, and second one, if you see, this is with respect to the serious criminal charges. But in both the cases, if you observe, in 2009 elections, 14 elections, 19 elections, that means 15th Lok Sabha, 16th Lok Sabha, 17th Lok Sabha. The number of criminal cases against the candidates, they actually got increased. So it's in the rising trend. Both the serious criminal cases and normal criminal cases against them. So this is another analysis we can understand. So along with this, you can see another. Again, it's like I have taken from the newspaper. This particular clip also. But here, which we have the Supreme Court's guidelines. Supreme Court in the year 2018 in the Public Foundation of India and versus Union of India case. Okay, so it directs the Parliament to come up with certain provisions to deal with criminalization of politics. When Parliament did not come up with any in the recent past, in the month of February 2020, it came up with 6 guidelines. Those we will discuss later. So, but Supreme Court also coming up with guidelines. So this is what here we have to know, because we haven't yet started the topic. Once we go into the details of the topic, then you will understand the Supreme Court guidelines better. Okay. So these are some of the recent clips that I have taken. On the basis of this, now we will be entering into the topic named criminalization of politics. So what we are discussing right now is all with respect to criminalization of politics. So now the question is, what CP is all about? How can we define the criminalization of politics? Now you can just see here, in simple terms, entry of criminals into politics. See, there are 2 things here you should understand. One is criminalization of politics. Second one is politicization of criminals. So it's a phase by phase process. First, what will happen? Politicians need the support of the criminals. Why do they need the support of the criminals? That we discuss in the next slide that we discuss. So first of all, why politicians need criminals? Because they have their own reasons. Because they need they need the money should be distributed, money, alcohol, or any other kind, or to threaten the people. So first politicians will start encouraging the criminals. Why criminals also will provide support to the politicians? They have a quid pro quo there, because these individuals having the criminal antecedents, if they need some kind of protection from the police against their cases, they need the political support. So that's why by giving support to the politicians, they in turn will get the support from the politicians. It's a kind of give and take. So in that way, first stage, what will happen? Criminals will start entering into the politics by giving support to the politicians. After some time, these criminals, by using the loopholes in the system, they themselves will become the politicians. Understood that? First, they will provide support to the politicians. Later, by using the loopholes in the system, what are the loopholes that we discuss now? By using the loopholes in the system, so they themselves will become the politicians. So that means, so for the criminals, so we are via politics providing a gateway, okay, to come and rule us. So this is what is called criminalization of politics and politicization by criminals. Politicization by criminals means after their entry, they will start politicizing it. Understood? So this is what is called CP and PC, criminalization of politics and politicization of criminals. So why it happens, first of all? Why this criminalization of politics happens? Because of the political patronage. Politicians needs the support of the criminals. Because when the criminal is behind you, you will be getting the muscle support. You will be getting the strength, because the criminal will be having the goons with him. So the goons can do anything. See what they can do. They can capture the booths. Right now we are with EVMs. Previously we used to have the ballot papers. So what these people used to do, they will capture the booth and destroy the whole ballot papers, drop them into the water, so that the whole ballot papers will be gone. But right now we are getting the EVM. Sometimes we have seen some instances like taking away the EVMs. Okay. Next is like threatening the people, threatening the opponents, and for the distribution of money, alcohol, or any other kind. Okay. So for all these purpose, politicians need the support of the criminals. So criminals also will provide the support to politicians. So in this way, it provides a platform for the criminals to enter into politics. So this is what is called, what we discussed right now, criminalization of politics. Now let's come to India. Now we just discussed the concept. Let's apply this concept to Indian political system. So if you apply this to Indian democratic functioning, as you know, in the initial years of independence, we have seen most of the legislators who got elected used to be the freedom fighters. Majority of them, those who are till that time into the active politics, they used to participate. So in the initial years, so during the time of Nehru, most of the people say like, okay, on one side, Nehru also a very statesman kind of person. But at the same time, in the initial years, we haven't seen much of corruption. The reason, recently we got independence. At the same time, most of them, so we have this thing like, we just got independence, we need to work hard. So this is our country. So we all should work for this. So that kind of nationalistic spirit, okay, used to be there in the initial years. At the same time, for those days, election means just for the cause of the people, because here we got independence. We need to strengthen this country. But slowly, with increasing years, what happened? So in the initial years, if you see, the same candidate used to get elected twice, thrice, 4 times. But with increasing years, the consciousness among people also started, and other people also started participating. So along with that, the first major decision that was taken up here is in the year 1969, Indira Gandhi. She stopped this corporate funding of elections. That means no private entity can provide funding to the elections. Okay. If anybody wants to give, you can just give the charity, you can just give the donations. Of course, there's an hypocrisy, but still. So first, in the year 1960, we stopped this corporate financing. So when the candidates, they needs the finance, they needs the money. When the financing got stopped, these people started finding out the underground financing, like this mafia. So these people started asking the money from this mafia. In turn, they will provide support to the mafia, the criminals. So in that way, by 1970s, in the Indian electoral system, whenever elections happens, this what you call underground financing, or what we call this as use of this black money, it started becoming evident. This slowly it started strengthening. Now it has become part and parcel of the electoral process. If you ask a 5-year-old child, even the child also will say that yes, elections means corruption will happen, black money will circulate. So it became a kind of new normal for us to accept it. People also started accepting it. Though we know it is violating one of the constitutional values. Okay, but still we started accepting because it became such a prevalent. The reasons, as I mentioned, second one, if you see cost of elections. Now, elections means it's a $1 billion festival. So on one side, people's aspirations got increased, population got increased, demand got increased, and they need to spend more. If you're spending more, obviously you're expecting something in return. So it is, but the politics has become business. So those with strategic interests, they're entering into the politics. So at the same time, these increase this competition, because once you're into the election, repeatedly you want to come back, you want to get re-elected. But due to increased competition, there is no chance for you. Then what you do? Then you want to go for all these kind of politics. You will open the religious fault lines, caste fault lines, because you want to get re-elected, because the chance of getting re-elected got reduced. In India, we are having this multi-party contesting. Any number of candidates can come and contest. Recently, we have seen one example in Nizamabad. They have to come up with a specialized EVM for that, because the number of candidates cross the list of EVM. Okay, so the political competition to contest elections got increased. The cost of elections got increased. So along with that, we have these fault lines, societal fault lines, caste-based discrimination, religious discrimination, like communal violence, poverty. So these all allowing the criminals also to dig this as an opportunity. Okay, to provoke the people, to use the caste lines, to use the religion. So by using all these combination factors, it is providing an opportunity for them to enter. So along with that, in the system itself, we have the flaw. What is the flaw in the system? We have the system right now, we are following in India what we call that as first past the post system. What is this first past the post system? If 10 candidates contest the elections in a given constituency, if 10 candidates contest, who gets the majority? Okay, who gets the majority? They will win the election. Even the majority of the votes, suppose for example in a given constituency the number of votes considered 10,000. The candidate who got highest number of votes is, suppose for example, only 2,000, because rest of the votes being distributed to the other candidates. But still, because this candidate got highest votes as 2,000, he will win the elections. But how many people voted? 10,000 people. But the candidate who won the election, he got the support of how many? Just 2,000. 10,000 people voted, but I got the support of only 2,000 candidates, 2,000 voters. But still I am the winner, because rest of the people also did not get more than me. But in reality, 8,000 people did not vote for me. But still I will be the winner. Understood that? So getting you see in this multi-party contest, getting a minimum number of votes by using my money power and muscle power is not a big thing. I know that certain group of voters, they will vote for on the lines of caste. Some will vote for money. Some will vote for alcohol. When you know these fault lines, So that too, in the first past the post system, who gets the majority, they will win the election. So it's very easy for me. So this is providing, the electoral process itself is providing an opportunity for the criminal to enter into the politics. Understood that? So that is about this. Then comes to the next one. How it is actually impacting the democracy. Democracy in the context here, the Indian democratic functioning. So how criminalization of politics creating a challenge to us? So as I mentioned here, the first and foremost thing. Okay. So it violates the principle of free and fair elections. According to Article 324, okay. So it is the responsibility of the Election Commission to conduct free and fair elections in the country. But if this criminals enters into politics, how can we expect there will be free and fair elections? Definitely that will be violated. That is the first challenge. Second one, definitely it introduces, when the criminals comes, it introduces culture of violence. So violence will become part of the politics and elections. So what kind of precedent it will set for the future generation? So that's what we all are seeing right now, right? So for the present youth, so politics means what they feel like, it's not my cup of cake. Because politics means it involves violence, politics involves needs money, needs muscle power. So it's not my cup of cake. So it is creating a kind of aversion to the youth to enter into politics. So it is disrupting the social harmony. So it also affects the bureaucracy. So in bureaucracy, when you have to be given one particular position, it should be given on the basis of merit, on the basis of your experience. But when criminals enter, because they want their persons to be in that position to favor them, this starts encouraging the sycophancy. That means those who supports them. So merit will be compromised, sycophancy, nepotism, favoring the relatives, favoring those who those who do the puppetry. You know what puppetry means? In Telugu, what we call bhajan batch. Okay, so they will get the promotions. So eventually what will happen while taking the decisions, because if I comes on the basis of merit, I will take the decision on the basis of objectivity. Objectivity means without bias. If I got appointed because I was recommended by one criminal or some politician, definitely I will try to favor them. If I tries to favor them, then the values, one of the values of the civil service, objectivity, taking the decisions without any bias, that will be impacted. Next, there is a law, what we call that as Gresham's law. Gresham's law, what it says, bad politics, bad money will drive away good money. So this is actual law, the actual quote. Bad money will drive away good money. In the same way, in politics, if bad politics enters, because CP, criminalization of politics, is bad politics. If bad politics enters into the political system, then the good politics will drive away. Understood that? So the good politics will be pushed to the corner and the bad politics will come to the main platform. So this is what happens right now. Because if you encourage criminalization of politics, bad politics will take the main platform and the good politics will be sidelined. So bad politics means what? See, it's quite common in elections to distribute money. It's quite common in elections to distribute alcohol. It's quite common in elections to misuse the public office. It's quite common in election to disturb the public harmony, religious harmony. So these all are bad things. Yes or no? Bad to the politics. But still, they will become the main things. This is what Gresham's law says. Bad politics will drive away the good politics. They will push the good politics to the corners. Okay. At the same time, so when criminalization of politics happens, do you think then there will be effective service delivery? Those who favors them, they will get the services. And so definitely the quality of service delivery. Service delivery means here delivering the governmental schemes, okay, implementing the governmental initiatives, projects. Suppose, for example, with respect to PDS, with respect to agriculture, with respect to girl child education, any of the governmental service delivery, definitely they will be affected because there is no objectivity. There is no unbiased decision making. Decisions are being taken with bias, caste bias, region bias, religious bias, relatives. Okay. So there will be also a policy corruption. Policy corruption means while making the policy itself, you'll say, like, say, in my region, I want the airport. So because accordingly you change the policy. So before making of the policy itself, you are changing the decisions. You want the policy according to, like, in your favor. Yes or no? So another point is, like, politics will be reduced to score settling. Yes. Last time when you became the chief minister, I was sent to jail. Now I became the chief minister, you will be going to jail. Okay. You threatened my media, I will be threatening your media. Okay. You created violence against my supporters. Now I will encourage violence against your supporters. So score settling. So your people affected too, my people also affected too. Okay, score got settled. Vendetta, revenge related politics. So eventually it leads to where? It leads to damaging the reputation of the country. Okay, so the image of the country at the international level will be definitely impacted. We have seen, if you see the Transparency International's corruption perception index, we scored 80. That we proudly says, like, ours is an world's largest democracy. Okay. So the reasons also they mention, because of the kind of political financing in India, we have a lot many loopholes. Suppose, see, if I donate to a political party more than 20,000 rupees, if I donate more than 20,000, then only I need to disclose who am I. So if I donate less than 20,000, I no need to disclose my identity. More than 70%, see this, more than 70% of the donations to the political parties are coming in the denominations less than 20,000. Okay, so most of the like donations these political parties are getting, especially the national political parties, majority of it they are getting with less than 20,000 rupees. So this indicates, suppose for example, if I want to transfer 1 crore to a political party, I will divide my 1 crore into multiples of 20,000. Then I will be donating. So if I donate 1 crore directly to the political party, then I need to disclose my name. Who am I? From where I got this? But if I'm donating multiples of 20,000, then I'm easily getting escaped. It's illegal. It's a loophole that is there in the system that is being misused. Okay. So these are the kind of challenges we are facing when it comes to entry of criminals into the politics. Okay. So then how the governments and the Supreme Court is actually reacting to this? So Supreme Court actually in the recent past is actually reacting very heavily. Okay. So in the recent past, if you see, when it comes to the process of the conducting of elections or election related issues, or after happening of election, formation of government related issues. Recently, we have seen with respect to Karnataka, after that Madhya Pradesh, now we are seeing in Rajasthan, court also involving heavily. So if you see some of the guidelines and recommendations, but as of now, if you see, we have two Representation of People's Act. One is 1950, second one is 51. Okay. So 50 deals with the general provisions, 51 deals with specific provisions like disqualifications, rights of the members, all those things. So 50 deals with the general basic procedure of conducting elections, 1950. 51 deals with respect to members. What are their rights, what are their duties, at the same time qualifications, disqualifications, everything with respect to the candidates. Okay. So under that, suppose for example, if you take the section 8, so there we have provisions with respect to disqualification. If the members got convicted, if anybody got arrested, against whom there is a case, in that case, there is a possibility for disqualification. So recently, the Supreme Court also has strengthened this. We will be discussing that. So Supreme Court, time to time, Supreme Court coming up with new directions, okay, for how the election should be conducted and how the candidates should be chosen. So here, if you see in the year 1995, Supreme Court came up with some guidelines, like while filing their affidavit, the candidates must disclose their educational qualifications, criminal background, and live assets and liabilities. So that's why now, in the recent past, whenever elections happens, we will get some data. We'll come to know about the politicians, how much assets they are holding. So if one politician thrice got elected, so in the first year, how much, what's the asset value? In the third term, what's the asset value? Then there can be a kind of comparison. Of course, most of the politicians, they will not keep the assets on their names, but still, whatever extent of the amount if they keep on their name, because some of the politicians, like, they will disclose like how much of crores of rupees they are holding. Okay, so at least this some kind of transparency should come. So that's why the Supreme Court also mentioned, like, you need to disclose your educational qualifications, criminal background, how many cases are pending against you. So what's the timing like, for how many years they are pending, you have to disclose. Okay, so along with that, this is the 2013 case. So in this particular case, Supreme Court mentioned that if any candidate, Lilly Thomas is a very famous case. If any candidate who got convicted with a minimum jail term of 2 years, if it is a minimum of 2 years, then definitely they will be, from the date of sentence, they will be disqualified. Previously, there used to be a section called a section, under section 8, there used to be a subsection called a section 4, subsection 4. So as per that, there used to be a 3-month long time for appeal. So they used to get a 3 months breathing space to file an appeal. So this 3-month space used to be misused by the politicians to manipulate the evidences. But now what the Supreme Court mentioned in the 2013 in the Lilly Thompson case, that if any person who got convicted against whom if there is a sentence of minimum of 2 years, then they will be disqualified from the day of sentence. Okay, so to reverse this judgment, government that time UPA government actually thought of to come up with a modifications to the judgment. But due to the criticism and opposition, that time only Rahul Gandhi openly he came and he told the that what you call ordinance papers. They actually passed one ordinance. After that, he openly came and told those papers. That became an issue that time. But that's the political thing. But what you have to remember here is the Lilly Thompson case. Then in the year 2015, Supreme Court directed the government to set up fast track courts to deal with criminal cases. So to deal the criminal cases on a fast track basis, the same kind of recommendation was actually given by the ARC in the year 2005. ARC actually wants to set up special election tribunals, what you call that as SEC, special election tribunals, so that these tribunals will deal all the disputes with respect to elections. Elections in the sense, not just the process of election, even against these candidates. So it recommends, but as of now, we haven't appointed any of the tribunal. At Supreme Court here providing the directions to us. Then finally, the 2018, in the year 2018, this Public Interest Foundation versus Union of India case. So it's actually this filed argument and all these advocates, they will file. Then Supreme Court mentions like, I will not provide any kind of guideline, any kind of changes, because it violates the separation of powers. Okay, when it comes to disqualifying the candidates, let the parliament comes up with it, because we have a theory of separation of powers. My thing is only to review. They have to come up with the law. So here we have to protect the purity and the strongness of democracy. So in that way, Supreme Court clearly mentions that, okay, it cannot disqualify the candidates. To disqualify the candidates, the parliament has to come up with a law. But here in this case, the Supreme Court directs the parliament. It directs the parliament to come up with some kind of law to deal with these criminals, those who wants to enter into the politics. Though the Supreme Court directed, Government of India did not follow these directions. So as a reaction to that, Supreme Court of India, in the month of February 2020, it provides these guidelines to the government. See, all the 6 guidelines must be followed by a political party before before allowing any candidate to contest from a particular constituency. So what are these guidelines? The first and foremost thing is the day they have chosen the candidate to contest elections, the political party, they must upload all the details of the candidate in the website. While uploading, why they are choosing the candidate, these are very important guidelines. Just pay attention to this. While uploading the guidelines, the political party must also mention the reasons for selecting this particular candidate. Why the political party has to choose this particular candidate to contest elections. This information they have to publish in media. What kind of information? They have to publish the assets, educational qualifications, criminal records, why they are actually allowing this candidate to contest elections from their party. Okay, that too within 48 hours. Within 48 hours, this information has to be published. Okay, at the same time, within 72 hours, here I did not mention, but within 72 hours, one complaints report has to be submitted to the Election Commission. Okay, first you have to publish at the local level, local to the print media and electronic media. And after that, within 72 hours, that means within 3 days, the report has to be submitted. That means the complaints report. The complaints report has to be submitted to the Election Commission. In turn, Election Commission will keep that with it. If the Election Commission feels, okay, that particular political party did not comply with the directions given by the Supreme Court, then Supreme Court mentioned to the Election Commission that you report to me. But it's actually a violation of what you call, this is one kind of judicial activism. This is a typical example of judicial activism. Election Commission also constitutional body, Supreme Court also constitutional body. But if you're asking, like you are dominating another constitutional body, to what extent it is true, some people will not accept it. They say like it's a kind of judicial overreach. But whatever may be the other things, but at least here Supreme Court wants some kind of fairness in the happening of elections. Supreme Court argues here, if you fail, do you think I also should fail? At least somebody should come to protect the democracy. This is what is the argument of the Supreme Court. Okay. So these are 6 directions provided by the Supreme Court in the year, like in the month of February 2020. Okay. So along with that, we have a famous judgment of this Chief Information Commissioner. This Chief Information Commission in the year 2013, it came with the judgment under which it mentioned like it wants all political parties. All political parties should come under the ambit of the Right to Information Act 2005. But political parties did not comply, did not accept this order, even till late. Okay, but this is one of the demands. Political parties should come under the ambit of the RTA. There are people who argues like here we have an act called as Prevention of Corruption Act. Prevention of Corruption Act 1989. According to that, political parties are actually the they are actually part of the government. Okay, so under the Prevention of Corruption Act, so against any government official or against any governmental institution, okay, action can be taken if they involve into the corruption practices. So according to the Prevention of Corruption Act, political parties come under the ambit of the government. So they need to they should come under the ambit of the RTA. So this is what is one demand, but political parties are not accepting that. Their point is like, see, we are disclosing we are filing the income tax returns. Though we will not pay the income tax, political parties will not pay income tax. As a party, as a political party, the party no need to pay the income tax, but they have to file the income tax returns. That means how much money they got. Okay, so they need to file the ITRs, income tax returns, though they did not file the income tax. This is just for the updation for the government. Okay, so this judgment was given by the CIC, but political parties are not ready to accept even till it. Okay, so finally, what should be the way forward then? So the way forward, as you all know here, the first and foremost thing, reforms to the Representation of People's Act, more stringent provisions, and like if there is a proven case, immediately disqualification. Okay, coming up with these fast track courts to deal with these political cases especially. And recently we came up with these electoral bonds. Okay, to some extent it is fine, but that is not a final solution. Anyhow, those who wants to donate under this less than 20,000 rupees, they are donating in a similar way. Until that loophole is there, you cannot stop that. So at least the political party should come under the ambit of RTI. They should disclose time and again how much amount they're getting from where. Okay. Some of them are recommending state funding of elections, but most of them says state funding of an election is not a feasible option for India. In India, for every 6 months, we will go for elections. So don't be wondered here. Every 6 months, in the sense, one or the other elections for local elections or MLC elections, MLE elections. So in one or the other way, throughout the year, we will be busy with elections. So for each and everything, the state has to come and sponsor. It's a very difficult thing. It's a very mammoth task. State doesn't have that much of resources. So that's why state funding of elections, though proposed, but in the current context, it's difficult to implement that. Okay. But at least for some portions, we can go for state funding of elections, at least for some kind of campaign. This like giving space to giving radio space, television space. So in these aspects, we can the state can provide funding in partial manner, but complete funding will be difficult. But that is also one suggestion. And along with that, we mentioned here like civil society participation, like awareness generation. If you take the case of Lok Satta in Andhra Pradesh, so it's one of the typical example of non-governmental organization along with political parties spreading awareness about elections. Okay, and nota should be made compulsory, and the votes of this nota should be like as of now they won't be counted. But at least if the nota continues in the coming years, if the nota votes are more than the actual winning candidate votes, there need to be some kind of reform that should come there. As of now, there is no reform. Nota means just to showcase, that's it. There is no validity, there is no value for nota as of now. So some kind of value should be given to nota. That suppose if any constituency, if nota votes are more than the winning candidate votes, and there need to be some kind of re-election or second elections, some kind of change should come there. And we have this model code of conduct. Model code of conduct, it starts coming from the day the election dates announced by the Election Commission of India. Model code of conduct. See, as of now, model code of conduct is just only it is not it's not legally binding. It's a kind of instruction. That's it. But at least if you legalize this, it provides more strength to the Election Commission. So this is what is one kind of recommendation. So finally, ultimately, what we are discussing here is reforms in the electoral system, electoral reforms. So finally, what we need is electoral reforms in all these dimensions. If that happens, at least by not allowing by regulating the allowing of criminals into the politics. Okay. So thereby we can strengthen the true spirit of democracy. That means people's participation freely and fairly in along with in participating elections. Okay. So with that, we can conclude the topic. Okay. Thank you.